Dude, this is the first year in 6 years I've stayed on the island for Power Series. Oh, I can't stand Power
I still think it was a good idea, the whole thing.
No, it's wonderful. It's great for the island. What's that?
I love it.
And the trash component was not as bad as other
Yeah, that's
events.
true. Yeah.
Pirates are respectful.
Maybe privateers, maybe.
They don't leave their booty everywhere for you to pick up.
Privateers. Cheers, you nerds, and welcome to From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. In Paxton, Eugene, we've got Sunset Kelly over there on the ones and twos. And our guest today, Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter, Emmy-winning actor, Mr. Lars. How we doing, bud?
I'm good. A little depressed.
Pretty excited to have you here on the show.
I'm super excited to be here.
With all of your new accolades.
I only had to take 2 drugs to prepare myself tonight for this show. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I took my normal 6, but whatever. That's my baseline.
Yeah, I get it.
A little housekeeping really quick. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, if you'll go ahead and subscribe to the channel, we also have an Instagram where I'm posting 1 to 2 clips every single day because AI.
I've noticed that, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, fuck, another one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then for a second, I'm like, God, I thought I already watched this.
Yep.
Why is it coming up again?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not.
So there's this AI program that pulls clips for you.
Yeah, automatically.
Yeah. Because I used to have to edit them myself, and now I learned how to schedule things on Instagram. So this is the fucked up part. The algorithm rewards you if you post every single day. So the first 3 days I posted, it was like, oh, look who's back, whatever. The 4th day, I started getting like 2K hits. Not because the content was any better. It was from the same. Yeah, from the same episode.
Right.
But all of a sudden, it's getting more hits because Instagram will start showing
it.
It'll promote it because you're putting shit out every day. It wants you to be annoying.
Publish or perish.
Yeah, so publish or perish.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to be annoyed, check us out From On the Barcast on Instagram. Also, check out David Smiley on Instagram. He does our artwork for us. And so, speaking of artwork and or non-artwork, lack thereof, this political season, outside of the millions of texts that I get,
I've gotten 0 political texts.
How?
I wish I could tell you.
You have an amazing filter.
No,
it's the 2 drugs that you took.
No, I'm not missing them. I'm literally not getting them. It's not that I'm not seeing them. I've gotten 0 political texts.
So I get them from all sides. It'll be like, hey, and most of them think I'm Julia, or there's another lady that thinks I am, and then they'll go, hey, Julia, did you know? Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
So outside of those, this election cycle season has been the most low effort fucking promotion I've ever seen for any candidate. And I'll give you an example. I'm riding down the street the other day, and a political yard sign says,
My baby done left me.
Trump, low taxes. Kamala, high taxes.
I've seen those.
Wow. Really hard-hitting stuff. Trump, low crime. Yeah. Kamala, danger.
Yeah.
Now, there is something to be said for a simple design, because the whole Trump make America great again, like that's design-wise, it's clean, whatever. Yeah. Kamala, whatever the fuck her says,
I don't know.
I don't know. All I've seen is this low effort.
She has no catchphrase.
So what does that say about the people who would view these signs and be like, oh, he's right, Kamala danger. Trump safety.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking to you guys earlier before we came on. I was going over to the Target area over there by Victory and Skidaway, and I was at the stoplight.
Very busy intersection.
Yeah, very busy intersection. Can't go to me, baby.
They got the best water at that intersection. It's only $1.50.
Yeah,
it's always cold too.
It's gone up 50%.
No, it's $2 now, but it's always cold. It's the best water. So.
But there was a guy right there, and I guess it's a palm tree right there at that the median right there. And you kind of make the left to go on to, towards Target area, Zaxby's, that area. And the guy's out there with a golf club swatting down a sign. Now, I don't know if it's a garage sale sign or one of those pay cash for houses signs,
sure.
Whatever that kind of
We
thing.
grab your junk.
Looking for test strips,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Diabetic test strip.
Yeah.
That's diabetes alley
But
right
this
there.
guy's got a golf club, an iron. Could be a 7-iron, not entirely sure, whichever's effective. But this guy took a couple of good swings at this baby and then finally knocked it down. and well dressed. I'm not saying not a suit, and I'm not saying he just came off the golf course either. But he wanted this
So
sign.
not homeless.
He wanted this. Yes, he wanted this sign down. So the sign goes down, and I'm wondering maybe the wind caught it and might have kind of frisbeed out into the street and all that. But I go to make the turn, and luckily the sign's face up, and it's a Trump, basically one of the two.
Trump good, Kamala bad?
Yeah. And this guy was having none of it. Now, I don't know which side of the fence he's falling on, but his car was parked just right there in that parking lot. I guess there's maybe a CVS or a Walgreens right there, right by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. There's a drugstore right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But he's got a Jeep Wagoneer, Grand Caravan, whatever, that kind of thing. And he pops the hatch, slides the golf club back into his thing. And
Maybe he's a
Calmly, like just matter of factly, he was real calm about it. Like
yeah,
walked back.
yeah. He didn't shove it in there out of disgust. It was like it
maybe
felt,
he doesn't like visual pollution in his favorite neighborhood.
It
where
felt
he gets
like
his
a
coffee.
civic duty kind of thing more than
Were there any other signs around?
No.
All right, so
But at this particular intersection, he's an exception.
If you're familiar at all with that intersection, it's sort of the place where most of the crazies go to hold up the end is nigh signs, or Jesus is coming back, or
I need $5 for
or I need five,
six
or
pack.
do you have work for me, whatever.
Yeah.
So typically, you don't want to mess with the people that are in that intersection.
You
because
don't want to get the fuck out of your car on that intersection. Let's just.
But like I said, he seemed totally approachable, and in hindsight, I wish I'd kind of, just for content's sake, been like,
That's not the person you approach.
I don't think this guy was
At least
awful.
not till he got the golf club
Yeah,
slid back into the bag.
Put the 7 iron down.
I didn't get the feeling of unhingedness,
Well, I mean, you said he was real calm about sliding in. So my question would be like, was he driving by and for whatever reason it struck a nerve, or did he leave the house that morning with the plan?
Maybe.
I've had enough of these signs. That
The
one right
visual
there.
pollution of it.
That's the one that's gonna be the target of my anger.
Yeah, and I'm curious about why that sign at that space, because trust me, there's ones in yards all over
Okay,
the place.
well, was there any other up in that area?
What do you mean?
Like, were there any other? Was he?
We don't know.
Not that I noticed.
Did he
no.
walk past?
Maybe
one?
he walked past 20 of them and they fucking hit all of them.
There was like 3 homeless guys begging for change, and then this guy with the golf club taken down.
Normal day in
So it's kind of
Midtown Savannah.
it was like a seagull mission. He didn't want to talk to anyone. He just kind of swooped in, shit on that sign. And
Well,
left.
here's another thing.
That was pretty much it.
His calmness should also be a red flag because
Yeah, that scares the hell out of me.
psychopath calmness of him being like, "Excuse me while I dismantle the sign."
Well,
with a golf.
if
Maybe
I
he had a bad round of golf that day.
he did have that look. I mean, dress-wise, he did.
So he could have been coming from the golf course.
Probably, possibly,
Maybe that was the
plausibly.
club that he hit worst on.
Something set this
He
cat
shanked
off.
a few in the water with that 7 iron.
How many swings would you say it took him to get that little sign up down?
2 good swats, and then the abrasive hand pull.
Oh, well, then he sucks at golf. Yes, that's it right there. We figured this guy's
But like I
3
said-
hits to take a political sign down.
But like I said, I thought this baby was going to sail out into the intersection, and that's why he didn't pick it up. Like maybe he wants a political souvenir of sorts. You know?
But he didn't take it home.
No, he left it right on the ground, face up, luckily, and that's what I was
So
like.
it's still litter.
Yeah.
Because essentially, people put up so many of those goddamn signs. It's basically they become litter. It is litter.
Right.
And I was saying earlier, like, what is our society now, where a sign like that could like turn the tide for you in your own personal thing? It doesn't for anyone.
I don't
These
think
things,
much of anything turns the tide for anybody.
anybody
Who's
they're
really on the
pointless.
fence, especially because they're such polar opposites. They're not close.
No,
Yeah.
So I don't see anything turning the tide.
not a sign with 4 words on it.
No.
One good, this bad.
Yeah.
I was just curious about why that sign at that space in that moment. What was
I
this?
think it's tied more to his golf
You know
game
what?
that day.
His golf game. I'll tell you what happened. He was playing golf that day, and someone stuck a sign that didn't look unlike the one that he put down, and he hit over to it accidentally, and that blocked his
one
shot
of
at the
those
green.
neighborhood golf courses where they have to put their political beliefs on display in the fairway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he
Exactly.
shanked it over
shanked
there.
it right into one, and then that was a non-movable hazard.
Lost the Lauderdale bet that they had going. But this guy went after this thing, and in hindsight, after we started talking about it, when I brought it up just casually, I was like, there might have been a little story. I was like, I'm just curious. I'm not here to change your mind about anything, but why this sign at this intersection at
The
this
way it's
time?
reading is not political.
It doesn't sound political.
It's reading like depression.
Yeah, they say depression. One of them. Yeah, anger is the first sign of undealt with depression.
Well,
If this guy's swinging at just every random fucking sign, it's skid away in victory.
well, now look, I'm not above taking a sign for nostalgia's sake to have it in my little catalog of things I like to keep. You know, I've done it at music festivals.
You're the one that people next door are talking about.
You know, I mean, you know, like the
Taking the
festival's
sign. Someone took my sign.
Well, the festival's over.
Here's
you
your
know,
sign.
this is probably going to go in the dumpster. They're not going to save it for
Festival
next
sign's
year.
different.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to gather it up because this thing, I know where it's going. So I was maybe thinking maybe this guy wants a little political souvenir, and then maybe go to a little after party, a little cocktail later, and go, you never guess what I did, you know. But no, he left this thing right there in the dirt, got back in his wagon.
You know what, man? Maybe he didn't go kill a dog
I hope
or
not.
beat his children.
Yeah, I'd like to think that
Because he
that
knocked
overt
us out.
act that you saw it spared somebody.
Yeah, maybe change the vote or two. I don't fucking know. Misinformation or disinformation or non-information.
Yeah, that reads as like anger, depression.
Anger
you know,
slash
it's your
depression.
your only outlet would be.
That sign on skid away. Still though, I mean, almost suicidal if he got out of the. I don't get out at that intersection for anybody.
Yeah, and after he knocked it down, he had to wait to cross back.
He crossed the road to get to
Yeah,
it.
because everything was flowing back towards like Whitmarsh
story
and
gets better
Wilmington.
and
Everything's flowing toward, so he had to wait and wait and wait. You know, after
And
he'd done
let's
this.
not forget the fact this is one of the busier intersections. So I can't find myself walking out into somewhere that populated to do something that
Maybe that was the point. A display of enough. But
That's
again,
surreal.
he wasn't wearing, make America great again or come up, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't delineate exactly what went into it. He was mad about one of the two.
Yeah.
And now I'm curious, like,
Visual pollution. What's your take on depression? Are you feeling depressed without
a real thing, man.
Without the
Depression's
without the
real. Depression's real.
Well, you're on the backside of some cancer issues, right? Are you getting back to the
Last
front
year,
again?
I mean, I'm getting stronger every day. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a hell of a lot more depressed now than I was when I was in a fucking wheelchair.
Really? Do you think because in the wheelchair, at the low point, you're like, well, it is what it is now. There's nothing. There's no room. There's
That,
no
or I
wiggle.
just wasn't dealing with it.
There's
then,
no
or-
emotional wiggle room because there's so much already. You don't
Maybe.
have time for depression.
I don't know. I think. I mean, I know the answer. The answer is my fucking brain hates me.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
easy.
No, my brain it hates me.
I'm not-
Like, for real. I mean, you think about it. There's a comedian that had a skit. He said something like, he's like, your brain could make you happy anytime it wanted. Anytime it wanted. Like, think about it. Like, it's got all the ingredients.
It's got the juice.
It's got the serotonin, the dopamine. It's got all the good hormones. But it's like a shitty partner. Or, like it's like, nope, it's all mine. Fuck you.
Yeah, because ultimately you're not the actual operator of it. It's the operator.
He's the operator.
Yeah.
So my brain just hates me. So, and I tried hating him back. It doesn't work.
Don't worry, you don't
Doesn't
care.
work.
The
Doesn't
little
work.
alien in there
and
doesn't
then there's
care.
that whole, like, I mean, like, I think this past month was the National Suicide Prevention Month. They had walks everywhere. But, like, depending on what you believe, depression, people think depression is just like, oh, like, I'm sad. You know what I mean? Or I'm down, lethargic, whatever. But depression is a roiling, and this is probably the most serious point in this whole podcast tonight. But
Let's get it out early. Yeah,
it
let's
is
do
a roiling, active, churning. It's like a fucking hurricane. Depression, that's what it's like in your brain. And when you get to the point, like, I don't think people kill themselves because they're sad. They just don't want to feel pain anymore. And they get to that point to make that decision. Like, so depending on what you believe, and I joke about this, but like, what if you took your own life and you ended up, boom, you wake up and there's some guy there going, nice try, champ. And then he's no, and like in like little league baseball, he's like, get in there and try again. And you wake up and nothing's better. Like, holy shit! Can you imagine how much that would suck?
That's a movie.
But seriously, like, you literally wake up and there's your high school football coach and he's like, better luck next time, get in there again. Boom, you wake up and you're right there and you're like, okay, well, we'll try that again. But
Well, you don't seem like the self-medicating type in terms of
Cigarettes.
Well, yeah, but like you're not pounding drinks, and
I mean, I
don't
barely
drink, right?
drink at all.
Yeah.
I don't drink. Yeah.
What about weed? Does that?
Sometimes.
I just have a weird relationship with weed where
Weed for me,
it makes
it's
me
a
sad
pain,
every
it's
time.
a pain reliever. Yeah, I don't get
Yeah.
sad when for me.
Well, no, it
it's
just makes me have panic attacks. I just can't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that either.
It's pointless. But I was just wondering if it like exacerbated or made it a little bit better, made it more
helps a little bit.
tolerable.
It helps a little
Pain
bit.
management.
Yeah, pain
Yeah.
management. But I mean, people you wouldn't even think. People are struggling, man. Like,
Yeah, and I'm
I mean,
glad
you work at Huckapoo's.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had a shift, but I work at Huckapoo's. Like, we know people are struggling. We
Yeah.
see it.
And it's a good thing to talk about because it's especially in our industry, in our business, and our lifestyles, where it's like we're not allowed to be serious sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So
it's good to talk about because more people than you think are dealing with it. And guess what? You're probably seeing them more often because of the industry. They're like,
Exactly.
this is happening to me. I'm up there drunk,
yep.
trying to plug some kind of hole, whatever, or even not plug a hole, just numb something.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, but and then you start numbing something, and then it takes more to numb the same thing, and then you get into the cycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess like, there's a thing called Sonder where everyone we know, whether they're close to us or just a passerby in the street, they're living a life completely unbeknownst to us. We have no idea, and it's called Sonder.
Okay.
And I guess all of us, including myself, could probably be a little better at wonder what that person's going through. Whether it be they just pulled over in front of us in traffic, whatever, or they didn't tip us, anything. Like, I wonder what they're going through before I just assume the worst. And I do know that I can, when I'm getting down or I'm feeling depressed, and that's the worst part of it, it's not one thing. There's not one catalyst of like, this one thing makes me sad.
Sure.
And if I could just cure that one thing,
But,
everything would
do
be
you
better.
isolate or do you go out?
Oh, I isolate.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. That's
I isolate.
So when you talk about having empathy towards people who may treat you a certain way when you're in public, you don't know what they're going through, sort of thing. It's hard for me to sort of put myself in their position because when I'm super depressed, I isolate.
Yep.
I don't put anybody else into my sphere where it's like, well, they don't know what's going on with me. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Which kind of
So,
feels like the.
I guess I don't know. I hope anyone that's dealing with depression now, in the future, or in the past, like, you just.
It's a real thing. It's not. I'm sad.
It's not. It's actually. It's the strongest thing you can do, is ask for help, whether that be from a friend or a loved one, or get professional help. The strongest thing we can do when we have whatever you call it, clinical depression, is to actually ask for help.
Yeah, it takes amazing courage to do that. I mean, it's hard.
Because at that
to do.
point, then you start facing yourself.
I can't remember where I heard the analogy.
So, that's enough of my serious shit.
No,
God,
well,
Lars.
not to close.
But
on
I've got a
this,
great segue.
but not to close on this. But I want to say it was Anthony Bourdain that kind of equated depression to shoveling snow outside your doorstep. Some days you're willing to do it every day. Move the snow out of the way. You go out and do it all that. But you leave it alone for 3, 4, 5 days. You got to open the door.
Piles up.
And it piles up, and you can't get out. And it's
Can't even open your door.
Yeah, it's this management thing of putting yourself back out there, whether it's your job, your relationship, family, whatever, all that. And when it gets blurred into, depression, and it can be conveyed as selfishness, aloofness,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. It can clearly, especially when you want to dig yourself out of it, you're almost concerned, like, if I call somebody, or they think, why now?
Because
I've heard
you
this
haven't
before.
reached out forever. Yeah.
Or the last time you did, then
Right.
da 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 da.
Crying wolf now.
Yeah, and that could be a very hard thing to do. So, at least in my component, where I don't know if I'm clinically depressed or not, but maybe it's just I like being alone. Not a nomad, necessarily.
I'm
But,
a loner.
but I'm okay being alone.
Isolation's fun.
I love myself.
I love it.
Me,
I love
myself, and I. We have a great time together. but I do.
So
but
your brain likes you.
Yeah, well, I can.
I'm happy for him.
It's convinced me. It's convinced me. But the more I put myself out there, I realize it's rewarding, even if it's the same old minutia, the same routine that you see at certain places on Tybee or in your life in general. The more you walk out that door, put a foot on the floor, and get out of bed, it helps. It just does, even if it's minimal. you know, and I'm no psychotherapist at all. I'm not trying to preach here and all that, but trust me, there are days I have no compulsion whatsoever to leave my house when I'm not working breezy.
Yep.
And that's not lost on me, because when I do go out, I'm not a rock star, but like, holy hell.
Look at this guy.
Where have you
on
been?
this end of the
Yeah,
island.
I get that a lot too. I'll
That's
say one
annoying,
more
too.
serious thing in response
No.
to yours, which is I've heard in the past there's people that they're sober or they're in recovery from whatever, and a guy said once that sobriety and recovery isn't about not drinking or doing the drug or whatever you're recovering from. Recovery is about connection
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
people. That's what recovery is. And
I
if
don't
you
like
have
people.
no connection, you can be sober for
Yeah.
whatever. It could be 6 months or 6 years, but you haven't recovered.
All it could take
And that
is
maybe
one
we need to
moment.
address recovery or depression in a different way, that it's about connections, making connections and sustaining those connections instead of, because I know isolation's not good for me.
No.
I know that.
It's not good for
but I
anybody.
also know that in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not good for anyone right now.
I think that's
Yeah,
something
so-
that might be
Cheers to that.
well,
Yeah, cheers for
as
that.
far as not being good to anybody, I think that can be slightly manufactured in your own mind. And we're dwelling
Yeah.
into territory here that
Yeah, we do.
really
we tell
not-
ourselves horrible stories about ourselves, which we know.
But
Let's get into the
I
fun
just
shit.
mean
They're
like
all true about me, though.
yeah. I
well,
like
yeah,
to think,
I know.
I like to think I'm a silver lining guy. I don't have answers, but I have perspective.
You're Sunset Kelly.
Sunset Kelly.
Sunset Kelly.
Sunset
Exactly. I'm
Kelly.
not sun up Kelly.
Not
I'm
Sunshine Kelly.
mid-afternoon Kelly.
Yeah, I kind of bailed on Kelly today for. I wasn't having a good day.
It's fine.
But we were going to go play disc golf, and I was like, yeah, something's happening around this area. I'm not going to.
There's something going around.
And,
No.
It's called
Something going
depression.
down. Something coming out.
so, yeah, I had to bail on Kelly today. So, but it
You
would have
end up
been.
disc golfing alone?
Well, yeah. I played 27 holes in less than an hour. Unencumbered.
Speed disc.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
How many political signs did you fuck up with your with your frisbees?
There wasn't one out there.
Not one that angered you
No,
enough?
no.
No
the only
visual
thing that got my way
pollution at
today-
our
Damn,
disc
I
golf
love it.
The only
course.
things that got my way today were people walking. That little path, that winding path.
Right.
And I'm not saying they got to get to a scurry because I'm on the tee trying to, keep the momentum going, but they're in no rush. It's a park, And but I played pretty well. Played 27, shot 3 over, which I was content with. Workman-like effort.
He never shoots like that when I'm out there with him. I think I intimidate him.
The funny thing was we were at the closing holes around the playground right there, 8, 9, and all that. And there was kids over there, and they're obviously not. It was like maybe 12 of them and a couple of adults, but they weren't gauging. They weren't gauging whether I was ready to play disc golf or not. So I had to just throw it out there, and I sent it right into the masses. And
On purpose?
No. I mean, come on, dude. You see me play. There's
I'm
nothing
a
on
belt to
purpose.
get in the head.
But it lands over there by the jungle gym area kind
Yeah,
of thing.
get off your playground, you little shit. I'm playing disc golf.
But I got about maybe a 30-footer. I got to Heisen that baby in, curve it in there, and all that, and I got a good look at it. It looked great. So it's going the right direction. I think it may go in. It probably is going to pass it by 5 feet. Didn't matter. But right then, one of those 12 kids jumps up and snatches it out of the air, just like a dog at a halftime football game.
All right, here,
I got to tell you, that makes me so fucking happy
it
that
makes
they
me.
did that to you.
Look, here's the thing.
I wasn't mad.
For 99% of the frisbee's existence, it's
You were
been made
supposed to catch it.
It's been made to
Yeah.
be thrown and caught.
And this kid probably just thought immediately, there's this flying plastic disc coming at me. And he just reached out of the air, Ocho Cinco style, one-handed, brought it down. And, I mean, I'll just scratch it up as a par. I'll just take that as
It
a
makes
Is
par.
that
me
what you
happy.
did? You scratched it as a par?
Scratch it as a par.
It makes me happy that kids still know
Yeah.
to
Right,
chase
right,
after
right.
things and catch them.
Yeah. I couldn't be mad about it because it wasn't like I was going for my lowest round ever. But this kid instinctually just saw this thing coming towards
But in your mind, you're hitting a birdie on that one.
in my mind.
I think also in his mind, he was beating the shit out of that kid with a 7-iron.
But, like I said, the kid came off the ground to grab that baby.
Well, at least a 7-iron frisbee disc is less less damaging than an
Yeah,
accidental.
but
That
no
depends on
political
who's
side.
tossing it.
Yeah, well,
Think about the surrealness of Kelly out there with a frisbee hitting a kid over the head. Like, you serious, kid?
well, dude, and I also talk to my things too. Like when I'm playing golf, I talk to my ball, my
yeah.
clubs. I think everybody does. Like you son.
I want to talk about Surreal. So I've got a buddy that I've been recording. He's like a lyricist rapper, you know. But the songs that he writes are just hilarious, you know. One's called "Shake It Like a Wet Dog," and you know he talks about getting kicked out of the club because he's very aroused, you know. This sort of thing. So we're
You mean
recording.
he's got a boner at the
Yeah,
dance club?
yeah. They're like, get out of here with your boner.
Is he not wearing pants?
Oh, he's got pants on, but that's a strong boner.
I got you.
Yeah, it's like the Anchorman boner, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the pleats. Don't act like you're not impressed. So we're recording the song. We've recorded a few songs, you know, that he's going to release on a mixtape. So he's in here, and he's doing his second verse for one of these songs, and he's got his paper right here, right? And he's like, so we finally get through it, you know, after like 6 or 7 takes. And I walk over, and I look at his paper. There's not a word on the paper that he said. And it looked like hieroglyphs. And not saying that I just couldn't not read his handwriting. Like, there was nothing on the page. I think it was just
Disappearing ink.
top secret lyrics. No, I think he just felt more comfortable holding on to something. But he was holding it up like
Well, dude, there's,
I'll find the paper.
That's interesting.
well, there's something to be said for a script. When I botched the opening, when I was trying to interview you, I had it all written down, but I just tried to go with the flow, like you always do,
Yeah.
and completely botched it. If I had read it verbatim, it would have been a whole different intro. I would have gotten porium right. I would have gotten janking.
Yeah, he goes
and
jinking in general.
The whole thing just stumbled
Which
right out
jinking
of
is
it.
a real thing.
I know, but
Jinking?
Jinking, yeah, I forget what it is.
Is it like fucking something up?
No, it's dodging problems, like when you're depressed.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out in the vernacular.
Yeah,
but it wasn't
jinking the
planned.
hell out of it.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
jinking the shit out of that.
Yeah, I had this kind of noble idea.
I'm gonna go jink one off.
Well, what now?
What now?
I don't know. You said we were winging it.
What?
This has been so uplifting.
Where's
Can we talk about it? You came walking in from the store with a pounder Budweiser in a paper bag.
That's right.
Look at that drop.
They normally try and give me the stupid plastic bags. I'm like, I know you got the.
they
the
have
ga-
the skinny.
I know you got the ghetto koozies back there.
Yeah, right, baby. That little driveway beer. Oh, I told you about it.
Well, normally we drink Celsius and or Bullet, which is, you know, I know a wide polarity.
Right.
But I walked in there tonight and I was like, I just want an honest, hard-working beer. For me, not working hard or doing anything at all.
Hard-working beer.
That's what, Budweiser's a hard-working beer, brother.
I mean, you can't see it, but I'm drinking the
Bud
collar.
Light's a harder-working beer after what happened last year.
Apparently, no. Well, you were a Yingling guy, right? What was your
I like Yingling.
your beer of choice?
Yeah, I like Yingling. I like Blue Moon. What the hell is that one?
Do you have
we
any
have on
compo-
tap at the outhouse. It's the
Tybee Blonde?
no, not the fuck Tybee Blonde.
Okay, Lars, gee whiz.
Oh God, it's on the. It's
Shout out.
It's got a grapefruit aftertaste to it. It's a fuck.
Oh, I don't know.
Can't think of the name of it. Anyway, I like that one too.
Do you have any compulsion to drink lately?
Lately,
Yeah,
there's a reason I've been isolating.
right.
I feel
Well,
like getting hammered.
I've just never known you as a drunk, though.
No, you never would have. No.
Yeah.
You don't feel compelled to drink when you're at home at all? I mean, there's liquor stores and convenience stores that could.
Yes and no, but I
Satiate
don't.
that.
I don't keep alcohol in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a drink at
I've
home
never
guy.
been like just sitting. I won't drink alone.
Okay.
There've been a couple times in my life when I've gone out and got hammered certain times, but it was with the goal. Like I would
Yeah, they're
call
chasing
Breezy.
split tail.
I'd call Breezy, and I would say I'm going. Like I would go to Huckapoo's, and I knew why I was going there. There's been
Yeah.
a few times like that. After my dog died was once.
Yeah.
And that lasted about a week. And that actually it was Bunger. She still worked there. At the end of that week, Bunger walked up and she said, "Please don't drink tomorrow." I was like, "Fuck."
Coming for you.
Well, this in general is like
Yeah.
the bartender is asking
Yeah.
me, "Please don't drink tomorrow," and I was like, "Okay," and I didn't. So,
Yeah.
Right on.
but yeah, that's not my goal. I don't
So
usually drink alone.
I'll drink alone if I'm off work when I get off work at night. and I'll come home. I'll have some drinks,
Like, yeah, you'll have your own shift beer at the
Well,
house.
right?
Yeah,
but
I get that.
But I'm not a sit at home and drink guy.
No.
Like, time to fire up some drinks.
Nope. Never been like that.
But I'm also not compelled to go out. Now, it's when I work, I immediately start drinking. The moment I walk in the door, I go straight to the cooler, cut limes, and drink whatever, whatever's close.
Right.
Not like hand on the wall, but I'm just like, got to get something going.
Got to get your mind right.
But exactly, because I've done it. I've worked sober, obviously. Of course I have.
Yeah, your face says it.
I mean, the bar we work in has sober crew wanted, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Sober crew never had. But and not to be like, oh, I got to be on the same level as these people, but
Right.
there is sort of the condom bursting part of, you get there, you got to make sure you have protection, mental protection. You don't
You
want
need a buffer.
Yeah, you don't want that
more than
condom-
the physical barrier between you and the drunks. I have found that a tiny little buzz is great, but I don't want to be on their level because I find them more entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not trying to act. Yeah, I'm not trying to be as drunk as them. But just that little bit of lube, and it might not even be the physiological buzz of it. It might be the ceremony, the act
ceremony
of it.
of, hey, I'm taking a drink. Yeah.
Right. It's just like you'll smoke a cigarette sometimes when you don't even
Yep.
It's just a way to take a break. It's a way to go away. So people that don't smoke, I'm like, do you go and chew a piece of gum when you stand?
What do you do?
What do
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah.
It's a weird, and I'm not saying go out and smoke if you want to take breaks, but
I think people look cool as shit when they're smoking, frankly.
I mean, that's my problem. If I didn't look so cool smoking, I quit a long time ago.
That's the rub, dude.
No, that's the problem.
If
If they would make it where it looks like a big dick or something, then I probably would quit tomorrow.
Yeah, dude, I mean, trust me, the 70s had an effect on me. Everybody was smoking.
I love the 70s.
I go
you
back to
cannot
old
watch
movies.
a talk show.
Well, go back to old movies, old TV shows.
Yeah.
People are smoking in hospitals.
Yeah.
You
You ever tried to watch Mad Men and
The
not smoke a fucking
patients,
cigarette?
the patients
so
are smoking
Pavlovian.
in the hospital.
Yeah.
When I first started junior high back in Chesapeake, Virginia, when my dad was in the Navy,
Nice.
there was an ashtray in the desk at the time.
Shut up.
This was probably late 70s, 78, 79, but there was ashtrays in the desk.
I
at
got
the
news
time.
for you. In the late 80s in the Navy, there were ashtrays in the desks.
Yeah. And there was a smoking section for students. I mean, because the teachers' lounge, that was like this
Just
land of
billowing with
Oz.
smoke every time the door
and
opened.
probably pints
We
of
had a
God
smoking
knows
lounge
what.
on the ship,
Yeah.
and it.
Yeah.
I had this
you walked
faint-
in there and
I have
you
this faint memory
literally
of walking behind
got
someone
lung
in a
cancer.
mall when I was really young.
Yeah, you could smoke anywhere.
And it was just billowing smoke out of there.
Well, airports have pretty much done away with them, but there were smoking lounges, maybe depending on which country, and they still have them and all that. But I remember flying when I was much younger. There was just a little thing stuck on the last third row, smoking section behind these last, these 4 rows are for smoking.
Yeah.
You're still in the same fucking tube.
Yeah.
But back
My
then, like,
first plane ride ever, coming home from one of basic training, I got to smoke in the back of the plane.
Shut up.
I still
Crazy.
think maybe in some parts of the world it's still a thing. Maybe not frowned upon, but
Well, all right.
Well, I mean, it's not really frowned upon on Tybee.
Now that the
yeah.
world has changed so much in terms of where you can smoke and where you can't, since the scent and the thing isn't omnipresent anymore, I definitely notice much more if I walk into a space where smoking has been
Smells
happening.
horrible.
It smells fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm sucking these things down like dicks, sucking them hard, giving them a sucking.
So so you'd smoke even more if they looked like a dick.
Right.
well, when I was
Different for all of us, I guess.
when I was younger,
Teach his own, brother.
When I was young, before I started smoking, and I started smoking in my mid-30s, which I don't understand why anybody would ever do that.
That's really weird, actually.
It is,
Interesting.
but life kind of.
Were you dating a girl that smoked?
I was getting over a relationship.
There you go. Yeah.
And tequila is a hell of a fucking liquor. But the last time I went to a social function was a family member of mine's wedding, and usually you see this little congregation. Back in the days, they'd be smoking a joint. There was 7, 5, 6 people, whatever,
All on a little pinner.
yeah, but because people were just smoking back then.
Yeah.
But now you go to a wedding.
Oh, buddy. you are relegated
if you're the first
to
person
behind the barn.
Yeah, you're with the kitchen staff.
Yeah,
Like the adage of like I'm smoking with the dishwasher kind of thing. Now it's not a joint anymore. It's like you're waking to break the seal because they're like, oh, thank God.
Oh,
someone
he went and smoked. Yeah,
he went and smoked, and all of a sudden 4 or 5 people congregate.
But you
over.
know what? I think it drives a community-based thing together because you're not any closer to anyone as you are with the other guy that smokes at the wedding.
But
right
now,
at
but
that
now
moment.
they know
Yeah.
you got a lighter and a pack of smokes. So you might become a new wedding best friend, at least for that night, kind of
right,
thing.
yeah.
But no, but like I said, in the past, they were doing something more nefarious. You know, now we're just smoking a
Now
cigarette.
you're just going to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, but a couple kitchen dudes, a couple of catering guys, and a couple of best men
Yeah.
or bridesmaids.
And you don't see it like
That's
it's.
why I love Tybee, though.
It's yeah. I mean,
If 5 or 6 people disappear, like from the bar or from a function or something,
Yeah.
they're probably going out to smoke a joint too.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Someone's got a blunt.
Office meeting.
Yeah.
Do a little
Safety
office
meeting.
Safety meeting.
how triggering? Because have you ever watched an episode of Mad Men?
Yes.
It makes me want to drink
And smoke.
neat whiskey and,
And smoke.
and smoke
Yeah.
inside of an office.
Never wanted a rusty nail more. Or
Oh,
or
dude,
a-
it's just
Yeah, it's
old
crazy.
fashioned.
immediately I see it. I'm just like old fashioned and a Marlboro Red. You know,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yep. That's our brains. Brains hate us.
Well, me and my brain have kind of an understanding.
We've made
I'm
it
curious to
into
hear
the-
this. What is this understanding you talk about?
It's a mutual decision. We could do this to each other.
Mutually assured destruction.
Well, it's kind
like
of
it.
it's kind
Yeah,
of maybe
right.
it's kind of like a marriage.
Reminds me
You
of
just
the
kinda
80s.
It's like a marriage maybe that's maybe probably should have been done and over with, a relationship, but you kind of go, you know what, this is the best it's going to be for both of us.
Wise words.
let's
God, I
not
love it.
let's not reach too far. Let's not overkick our coverage here.
Lest the man dreams exceed his grasp.
Yeah. So there are days my brain's telling me, you know what, fuck you, we're doing this today. And then my body, with my happy frisbee voice, not today, Kelly.
Not today, Kelly.
No,
We're gonna go play
you're
frisbee golf by
you're-
ourselves.
You're a good person. You're not competitive.
You're
let Paxton
valuable.
win, yeah.
If the little voice in my head sounded like that, I'd be drinking and smoking.
Well, there's the rub, because I got the other voice who's still in bed back at the apartment. It's like, fuck that.
When was the last time you watched a clip of like Johnny Carson or Dick Cavett or anything like
Yeah,
that?
they were smoking their asses off.
Johnny Carson is smoking.
Yes.
Yes.
It's insane. It's insane. It's insane.
It's very Pavlovian for me. It's situational, and sometimes
Oh, yeah.
sometimes it
There's
can
triggers.
Sometimes it can be tied to anxiety, but other times it's like if I go home to see my folks in Augusta, 3 or 4 days, I'm not compelled at all. Now, depending on the company I keep while I'm there, I might want one, but I can go easily 3 or 4 days a week without even thinking about it hardly. But almost it could be a song on the radio.
Oh, a great song on the radio.
a scene-
Gotta smoke.
A scene in the movie or a show, that kind of thing.
Text or a phone call. If I miss a call from my son or I have a text from my son, I will not listen to it or read it until I grab a cigarette. No, it's we have triggers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a coping mechanism. Yeah.
Well, it's also you figure out the length of time of a cigarette, and you're like, oh, I have time just for a cigarette before
or after, or I can't finish cooking dinner till I go have a cigarette, or I just finished eating.
Yeah.
I gotta go have a cigarette. It's horrendous.
I wonder if we're triggering people right now. I'm sorry.
I
if
hope
we are.
so.
I hope we are. Yeah. I mean, there's a
I
reality.
just want everyone to know I've got a pack of Marlboro Reds shorts downstairs on the deck that when we break, I'm gonna light one up and take a huge drag off of it. You know how that Marlboro, they hit you right in the back of the throat.
Brother, I have a Marlboro Red story. So Paxton and I would hang out occasionally after work before the podcast was the podcast, but that was our kind of little code word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before we ever started the podcast, we would go, hey,
And I'm not
do you
saying
wanna
that
go
was the-
podcast because we were just there to jaw jack.
Yeah, we no guests. It was just and all that. But that was back when the Rock House had the SIG machine. So I get there, and it's too far to go to Circle K over, on Whitmarsh and all that. So I'm like, well, I'm over here at the Rock House. We've got a choice. We've got the Cowboy Killers, the Marlboro Reds, or was it Cool 100s?
Oh.
Good God.
And you're like, the
Stop.
Reds.
Reds.
So we came over here. We riffed like we always did and all that. But I woke up the next day, and I'm pretty sure it was 10 apiece. We plowed that pack.
Oh, buddy.
There was nothing left.
Sucked them like dicks.
But the next day, in the cowboy terminology, my lungs felt like fucking saddlebags, baby. I was like, that was like heavyweight cigarette smoke.
Well, and the thing is, we probably smoked 10 apiece within an hour and a half.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm surprised you guys didn't get like sick from the nicotine or vomit or
Oh
something.
man, that's the thing.
Well, we had help.
The more I drink, my cigarette intake goes. Like I don't smoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The drunker I get, it's 2 cigarettes every 20 minutes
I
instead
gotcha.
of 1.
At a festival environment, at least a pack a day. Whether I'm giving some out to
Oh,
friends
yeah.
in the crowds or random strangers and all that, I'm going through a pack a day
Oh, yeah,
at a
100%.
festival.
Mine is. I'd say mine's stress is probably the biggest
Yeah.
contributing factor for me on the amount that I smoke. Yeah.
Stress is a little bit a part of mine, but mine's more just Pavlovian. That certain things are presented in a certain way, and I'm just triggered. Just maybe because of the idea of maybe not because it was back in the day, but
Yeah.
you just see it in this moment, and like if I was dealing with this right now,
Right.
goddamn right, I want to fire this
Well,
baby.
I don't know about you guys, but I kind
I
of want a
kinda
fucking
need a
cigarette
cigarette.
right now. Let's go take a break, and we'll be right back. Self-triggering. Your brain hates you.
Oh, our brain hates us. Hates all of us.
Does it? It's a
Brain is a
French-
withholding motherfucker. And then it says shit like, you want to be happy? You want to feel good? Go for a jog. The guy's like,
Hey, yo, what's Bob? Hey. Hey. Trick or treat, motherfucker, it's the bug. This ain't no costume, bitch, just the fit of a thug. I'm snatching dope boys for they bags and give them to the kids and my folks doing 20-year bids. I'm like, fuck what you did and fuck what you doing. If the product's still moving, then the witch is still brewing. Hey, bug by the ruin, Halloween for the hood. The evil and the good and the ones who never could. Boo. We're back.
3 days
And it's
away.
Halloween.
3 days?
We went and smoked.
Yeah, 3 days. Yeah.
We went and smoked our cigarette. It was fulfilling.
Yes.
It worked. I changed my sweaty shirt because it's 74 degrees in late October.
Same color, so we'll see.
Same
that.
color. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if
I
nobody
didn't even
notices.
notice. What does that tell you?
But on the break, we were talking about our other little proclivities, and one of them was when I had my wisdom tooth taken out. They gave me some, like, not incredibly strong drugs, but it was like Lortab or something like that, and I took them as needed. But then one day, I took 2 when I wasn't in that much pain, and I laid in bed, which felt like a warm bath. And I stared up at my ceiling. There was not a music playing. There wasn't a TV going. There wasn't a person in sight or a worry.
You didn't need anything
Or I didn't need
else.
anything. And I was like, oh, now I see why people get. So I immediately sold the rest of them to a guy because I was like, these cannot be on my
They
bedside.
cannot be beside my bed. Yeah.
This cannot be on my bedside.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I haven't taken some recreationally.
And I have too now.
Yeah,
That yeah, because I've seen it like. But anyways, that's not Halloween candy.
no. Well,
We can-
Oh, it should be. I would.
that party.
I
baby.
would dress up. I would dress up as whatever you wanted me if they were handing out Vicodin.
I would dress up as a glory hole. Just give me
Mm-hmm. I would-
that. Give me
You know
that
what?
Vicodin.
You know what? I would go mentally stable. That would be my costume.
We are full of awful ideas tonight.
I know,
for
this is
everything.
the
No real
terrible idea
rationalization
podcast.
for any of it.
What do you think the most popular Halloween costume will be this year?
I hope sober.
I mean,
But I don't know.
I'm
Probably a
gonna
lot
tell-
of President Trump.
I'm gonna tell
That's
you
a big one.
I'm gonna tell you the one. I guarantee it. It's gonna be the Menendez brothers.
yeah. Just dress up in a
What
suit
are
or
the
like
Menendez
going to
brothers?
play golf.
You don't know the Menendez brothers? They killed their parents back in like
Oh
'89.
my God, that was forever ago.
Yeah, so
Why
that's-
would they dress up as them now?
Because a Netflix series just came out, which I've watched some of it. But not only that, I don't know if it's because of the Netflix series, but the new DA in their county wants to get them resentenced to non-life and to let them out immediately.
Yeah.
They've been in jail 35 years or whatever, something like that.
Holy
And they
shit.
were 18 and 21 when they committed the crime.
Yeah.
Now, not knowing whether their parents diddled them or not, whatever. But a person of that age who was obviously mentally unstable enough then to kill their parents might have,
Extenuating circumstances.
yeah, and they might have literally reformed or rehabbed because of the way they've been acting in prison, like, model prisoners.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there might be a lot of twins out there, or parents of twins dressing their kids up like the Menendez brothers.
Well, we're covering a lot of
that would be really, really amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
we're covering a lot of ground that's traditionally not part of what
Yeah,
we do
and I
here.
apologize.
No, it's not about that. But, I've got my folks, and I adore them both. My dad's passed away and all that, but I've never had a drop-down fist fight with either one of them. I never told either one of them to F off and all that. Because traditionally, when I got caught, you got me. It's like when the cops pull me over. I'm not the wrong guy. It's like, you got me.
I was speeding. I
was
know it.
speeding. You got
Yeah.
me. I'm
I'm
trespassing.
kind of the same way. I've
you
had
got
one
me.
DUI in my entire life.
I'm not, so with my folks, when they got me, they got me.
Yep.
And it was, it wasn't this hate thing. I was just like, all right, you got me.
Fair play.
Yeah.
You're the
I
cop
feel
on the
same
road.
way.
But,
I feel the same way.
But the idea that, dawning on my mind, like, you know what, F this today.
Well, there was obviously something else going on, and
I mean, there could be pathologically or psychology,
To
whatever
do
you
that, or
want
to
to
go out in the middle of an intersection and beat down a political
sign
sign. It
with
might
a
be a
golf
long.
club.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe you should dress up as that guy for Halloween.
I'm going to be searching the local news stories for man commits murder with 7 iron.
With 7
That's going to be every dude at Bacon Park, man.
I traditionally, I'll dress up a little bit, but Halloween typically falls around the Georgia-Florida football game.
Yeah.
And I've dressed up like a Georgia redneck before, which I didn't. It wasn't a stretch.
I was going to say,
I didn't have to do much.
you didn't have to buy anything,
I didn't
did
have to do. No, I literally bought one thing. I bought one thing, and it was when they used to sell this, like 10 years ago. But at Walmart, they used to sell the full graphic shirt, NASCAR shirts. Whereas the entire front of the shirt was just covered in a car and numbers and
the driver.
And the driver. Yeah, they were amazing.
I got one.
Yeah, that's all I had to buy. What have you had any greatest hits Halloween costumes? Are you a dress-up guy?
It depends. Depends on the mood I'm in. Depends on the year. I think like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, Smoot and I dressed
Shout
up
out Jennifer
together.
Smoot,
Jennifer
listener from
Smoot,
Austin.
We dressed up. I was the Crow. I went as the Crow.
Really?
With the Poos, yeah.
And this is before the Crow remake that they just did that everyone hates.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
There's only one Crow movie.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Brendan Lee.
And a guy died making it.
Yeah. But, I've dressed up in the past. I mean, we've...
Is it for like costume contest?
Not even a costume contest,
Yeah.
but we'll go out in public. One year, my girlfriend and I dressed up. I had a wife beater on, backwards baseball cap, and I think I was carrying around a Budweiser, and she went as pregnant and had a black eye, and it was on Tybee, and we were on the South End, and people really thought she was pregnant.
And beaten up.
Yep. And no one batted an eye.
No.
In fact, I think I heard a couple people go, she probably deserved it. I mean, it's Tybee.
That's what I'm saying. You weren't very out of the
But
ordinary.
we were just making fun of,
Yeah.
whatever.
The
And
stereotype
so yeah, I've
of
dressed
it.
up. I'll probably dress up this year.
Back in speaking of parents and Halloween, back in the day, I lived on the south side of Savannah, and the neighborhood we lived in, we were backed up right next to this place called Arlington Apartments, which were a step above like projects. But so I go trick or treating around the neighborhoods, and none of my troubles came from the project side.
Oh no, it typically doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
I'm walking around and I get punched in the face by a kid who's probably almost a foot shorter than me. And the shock of this, I was like, and he was like, it was sort of like, I bet he was dressed up like they were in the Karate Kid and like the skeleton, you know?
Sweep the leg.
Yeah, so this little shit punched me in the face. And by the time I'm processing that, I guess his older brother or the teenager that shouldn't have been hanging out with kids that young tackled me and took my bag.
Your candy bag.
My candy bag, my nearly full
Yeah.
candy bag. So it was a bag, it was an operation. Clever girl, a couple of velociraptors attacking.
That was a real thing.
That was a real thing. This was in like Maycrest neighborhood on the south side. Oh. So I go back to find my stepdad at home, and he goes, "What happened?" I was, because my bag, it was a plastic bag with 2 little plastic handles on the top, so I still had the handles in my hand.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
From the bag. I was like,
I'm so glad this happened to you, actually.
me too.
It's the best Halloween ever.
Me too.
Oh, fuck. Can you dress up as that this year? As a little kid with just the handles for the bag.
Well, I mean,
Because it did turn out to be
And
the
a black
best.
eye.
Yeah, it did turn out to be an amazing Halloween because. So I tell my stepdad, he's about 4 of these tall boy Budweisers in. We hop in the truck.
oh boy,
Buddy.
We're looking.
getting that candy back.
I gotta. So here's the thing. You think you'd be pretty anonymous in a Halloween costume, but if you're wearing a costume that I know that I got punched in the face with,
Laser
like,
focus.
yeah, I'm looking for Spider-Man,
Yeah.
but the shorter Spider, whatever.
You're looking for the midget Spider-Man.
We're going around, and we find not the young kid, but the older kid, who was. I think they had the operation of he would send the younglings out to different corridors of the neighborhoods. They would do the robbing, and then he would sweep through with pillowcases, body pillow-sized cases, and he would collect all the candy. Well, he must have hit maybe 14 other He-Mans or or whatever the costume du jour of that time was, and his pillowcase was almost full. Stepdad, Paul, shout out Paul Burge, hops out the car, punches the kid in the face, takes the most Halloween candy a kid like me had ever seen.
It's an amazing, amazing story.
And we get back, he dumps it all out onto the ground.
Were they giving away drugs back then?
Oh, dude, I wish they'd have been putting razor blades or something in there. Or opiates.
Opiates.
Opiates in the Tootsie Rolls. So it's me and my stepbrother. He lays it out on the floor. He takes his arm, chops the pile in half.
Oh my God.
Like Scarface.
This is the good old days where, like, he could punch. I'm sorry. He could punch a teenager in the
Yes.
face that deserved it.
Yes.
And there were no ramifications.
And
These are the good old days.
no one batted the eye. Yeah.
Maybe
No,
a visit to
because
the
he had
front
it
door
coming.
the next day.
Yeah. But it was, the thing was, that South Side neighborhood, I knew a lot of kids, but there were so many kids all around that area that,
Yeah.
I'd never seen any of those guys before. And never saw them since. Not because they were like, oh, don't fuck with that neighborhood.
Right.
It was just, there were so many kids of that age around there.
Did you really go as He-Man?
Oh, I think I was He-Man that year. Yeah.
Didn't He-Man have the really bad bangs? I'm trying to picture you.
Bro, trust me.
Yeah.
My hair was lily blonde when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture you as He-Man.
And yeah, I
It's coming
probably
together
already
right now.
I probably had the spike mullet already. So instead of spiking, I just laid it down to have the bangs. And I didn't have a sword, so I would just stick a stick down the back of my shirt and be like, by the power of Grayskull, I am He-Man.
A little walnut tree stick.
Yeah, exactly.
As a kid, I was all about it, obviously. Free candy,
Buddy.
And my parents were cool enough. It wasn't like, don't eat it all tonight. Buddy, for 2-3 days, I was on a fucking Coke, candy crack bender, that kind of thing.
All right, so they
Sick
would,
as hell.
they would normally titrate on years that I didn't get bag snatched.
Yeah.
They'd be like, all right,
Thanks.
you can have, a quarter pound of this candy today, and we'll wait a few days. But that year, because of the PTSD and the trauma,
You got to eat it all
I got
at once.
I got to eat it as quick as I wanted to.
I mean, Donna, my mom, she loves chocolate. She's got it stashed in the drop fridge, the drop freezer in the garage, maybe in a drawer
There's candy
somewhere in the
everywhere.
house. Yeah, dark chocolate all the way up, whatever. But there was never like some sit down like, well, we're gonna parcel this out to you and all that. I'd plow through it as fast as I could, that kind of thing. But there was never, they didn't sort the candy. And this is back in the day, like when popcorn balls were homemade. But you go by the dentist house, and you'd get the toothbrush and the travel,
and then they would get eggs
or
on
maybe
their windows,
or maybe 10 pennies stacked in a little plastic bag, kind of thing, and all that. But you knew the houses that had the good stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you'd go back and hit them, that kind of thing, and get 2.
And what was always left over at the end? The little shitty orange wax paper ones with
the candy corns.
No. It was covered in orange wax paper. It was a little turd. No one ever knew what it was.
I can't remember that.
Yeah, they would come in an orange wax paper and a black wax paper, but they were sort of like, they weren't caramel, but there was something shitty in there. Oh. That and then the Smarties.
I love Smarties.
I love the Smarties.
Really, those are I always left those.
I love those.
I was the
You had to eat the Smarties after the chocolate because you had like the super sweet and then the sour and then the.
Got to cleanse the palate.
pairing, candy pairing.
Smarties.
I like the minis of everything.
Yeah.
The Mr. Good bar, with the Nestle's Crunch.
To this day, I can't even look at a Milky Way without getting like sick to my stomach. I ate too many one Halloween. Can't eat a Milky Way to this day.
The little fun size, as it were.
Well, the fun size has gotten incredibly smaller. Fun size is like the size of your thumbnail now. Back in the day, it was a mini candy bar.
Big Candy, they're coming.
Now it's just a
Big Candy's making small candy now.
I blame Michelle Obama.
Do you?
Wasn't she the one that pushed the healthy food for schools? That's why the candy's smaller now.
I don't remember. I just don't. I think one year my parents might have grazed over the candy just to see if there was something sharp sticking out of any of it. But,
was it that, or they were just looking for something they
or
wanted?
maybe they were looking for something they wanted. But I think the dumb fucking hysteria about, number one, drugs in it. No one's wasting their drugs on your
No one's
stupid,
giving drugs away for free.
your stupid fucking kids.
Fuck, I'd have been an opiate addict when I was 10.
Number two, who's taking the time to put a razor blade?
Well, there's some sick fuckers out there.
There are, but I think
It wasn't a concern back in the late 70s
No,
when I
I-
was trick-or-treating.
I remember
full force.
hearing like, be careful, don't take like fruit or. I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to the house that's giving me a fucking banana or an apple. Fuck
Well,
that house.
if that apple's covered in caramel or candy, then I'm going back to that
This is
house.
just a lot of work to get the caramel off
Yeah.
that.
Well, I was a vampire one year and then immediately became a pirate for my second round,
So you
It's
had more
all
than one
making
costume,
sense
you mean?
now.
Well, it was very easy to kind of change over. I just slicked the hair back,
That's some dedication to candy.
put a little eye black on, and went back around. But this is in the pillowcase days, baby.
Yeah, we always took
Yeah.
a pillowcase to grab our candy.
And Donna was not buying a plastic pumpkin. When you have a
Right.
pillowcase at the house.
Yeah.
She's a very.
So you know the Hulk tip jars that we have at Huckapoo's?
Yes.
Those are Halloween pails.
Yeah. And I always wanted one because I wanted to be like the cool kids, but But then, a little ways down the road, I kind of realized way more volume in a pillowcase than one of those little fucking plastic pumpkins.
Much more bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you ever go to the house that had Easter candy? You're like, you fucking serious? A
Yeah.
Cadbury
Oh, leftover.
Yeah.
leftover Easter candy, a
Yeah,
Cadbury
they
cream
reuse it.
egg.
I've never had
You knew
one.
by the color of like the M&Ms and everything. It was, they were fucking us.
They got that freezer burn looking kind of thing to them. I've never had a Cadbury egg.
Who wants them?
It's
Talking
gotta
about the big chocolate ones. That,
Yeah, that's filled with the white shit. That's
It's
disgusting.
gotta
no,
be
it's not
delightful.
disgusting.
It's got to be delightful.
We got an apologist here. Okay.
No, it's fine. I love it. But,
It's
but for whatever,
magic.
for whatever reason,
It's like taking a shot of.
Fireball? You
I
have
wouldn't.
any Fireball
I
here?
wouldn't know. There's just something about the ooziness. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
they
into
were
it.
magic.
Even if you got them on Halloween and you knew they were old as shit.
No, you put them in the freezer, you can't tell.
Do you give out candy? Do you live in a place where you give out candy?
They trick or treat in my neighborhood, but the house is so far back from the street.
Oh
that
yeah,
I don't-
you're way off the street. Yeah.
Usually I just put a bowl out and says take one, and I know they're taking. I don't give a fuck. But
Right.
I thought they got it all over with on Lewis that one.
Lewis
night.
is the big one. That's
Yeah.
where.
Yeah, so if
families
you're
take
not
their
familiar
kids.
with Tybee, we have it's all pretty much concentrated to one street.
Yeah.
Lewis Avenue.
Whenever they try to, but then I'm sure there's some vagrant trick or treating going on out there.
I would
not
hope
in
so.
my,
I would hope
Oh,
so.
there's.
not in this neighborhood,
And
brother.
usually the rule is if your house light's on, like your outdoor light is on,
Right.
come trick or treat. Yeah, I mean that's usually the rule. And if you don't want people come to your house on
Yeah.
trick or treat night,
Right.
then you make sure your light is.
If the light's blinking, there's drugs in the candy.
I'm gonna be driving around looking for blinking lights.
God. Damn.
That's like the upside down pineapple.
Oh fuck!
That's how you know where the good drug candy is. If the porch light's
It's
blinking.
flashing. If it's blinking.
Well, the last time I probably really participated in Halloween, it was a costume ball that I went with a girl I was with in another life, but it was my religious outfit, the Cardinal Kelly.
Oh, you look great in that too.
And this wasn't technically Halloween. It was about a week before and all that, but it was kind of a costume ball. And we went out afterwards, and we went to a bar, and I'm still wearing it, And it's not, I guess I had that kind of Catholic look to me. So drinking a pint of Guinness.
It's very papal.
Yeah.
You had a Catholic look? Did you
I
have
get-
like a 10-year-old boy beside you?
No. It wasn't that creepy. What was funny remarkable about it was just going to a bar because a Catholic priest's not above drinking a pint of Guinness, that kind of thing. I've encountered it many
Most of the
times.
priests I've ever known drank like fish.
All the ones at Benedictine Military High School.
But I'm wearing this ensemble. We're at a bar in Sarasota, and I'm just in the bathroom line, and I get the warm hand on the shoulder like, Father, can I tell you something? People, and I was wearing eyeglasses, but without the lenses. So there wasn't any, those glass in the eyelash, but I had the little ring on, the whole thing, the flowing robes. But it was a week before Halloween. I figured people would understand that it was a costume. Brother, I had about 10 confessions that night, and that's probably undershooting how many people pulled up next to me and needed some manufactured comfort.
Confessional Kelly.
I mean, it was true. And
I've seen
Honestly,
porns like that.
If I'm not picturing you would pull off a priest pretty well.
well,
He
and
showed up here in it one night.
And again, I wasn't trying to, convey that I was this guy, and I didn't want to burst their bubble. But when it got a little deep down the rabbit hole on some of the things we were talking about, like just so you know,
hey man, I don't
When
want to
they're
be
talking
called in
about
to
Bon Jovi.
testify.
I'm
You
just
better shut the hell up.
I'm just a dude, But if you want to this is a costume. But the other ones were just so casual, like, man, I love seeing a man of the Lord being out here tending to the flock. Because to tend to one's flock, you must be amongst them. But people bought into it, and that was not premeditated at all. It was just a costume.
Now
for
you
this
do
thing.
have the calming vibe, but that's a baseline vibe for you. Mm-hmm. So then adding the costume to it,
Yeah.
and then if you're swinging the incense around,
Well, like I said, it was just a very, and this is
You
a
said
random
it was
bar.
a week before Halloween. though,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, but it was, we were trying to get out of the way, or the friends we were going to hang out with were getting out of the way, and and the idea was dress like you're from a different country.
okay. So the only thing I can even similar, and maybe you've gone through this too. You're licensed officiant for weddings, right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you've officiated weddings before.
No, Jack, my wife is.
Okay, so I am a licensed officiant.
Yeah, I know you were. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I've done weddings before, and the awkward moment happens when they come to me and go, so what church are you with? Or what denomination? I'm like, all right, listen, I hate to, pull the veil back, but I paid $20.
And I took a test online.
Yeah, I filled out a form. I had a pulse,
Yeah.
which was one of the requirements. Oh, no, the other requirement was driver's license or form of ID, whatever. I'm like, look, man, I paid $20. If people want religion in it, there's this real easy book I can pull shit out of, the Bible.
I'll pull any book you want me to use for your sermon.
The thing is, I tell people, I'm like, don't. If your parents want religion and you don't care about it, give your parents the religion. Who gives a shit? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a real priest. But the worst one was I was officiating. Like, he's. I call him my lawyer, but I've only used him once. But so
That makes him your lawyer.
he's a lawyer, and he's lawyers hang around some pretty highfalutin crowds. Like they're amongst people of all manner of higher society.
And lower.
And lower. Well, yeah. But the people attending the wedding, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're
They're
riding
not
on
inviting their
the
clients.
they're not except me, the one who married her. So we're riding in the bus from the venue back, and somehow I got on the bus with all the old ladies who probably went to church every week, and they go, "So that was a pretty short ceremony." I was like, "Yeah, praise be to God, they wanted it to be short."
Yeah.
And they go, "So what church are you affiliated with?" Now, to these old ladies,
It meant something.
right? So I said, "It's in Griffin, Georgia, North Atlantic."
Did you just pull a Harry Potter reference out? Jesus Christ.
34 3/4. Last Methodist Episcopalian.
Pentecostal snake handling.
Oh, haven't heard of that one. Must be black.
I was flattered in a weird way, and again, I wasn't posing to be a man of God or have any sort of guidance towards anybody, but just the flowing robes,
Yeah.
the calming presence
pull it
of
off.
some sort. And it wasn't premeditated. It was just a night out after a costume party. And,
It's like if Lars dressed up as a wife beater.
well, and I didn't want to deflate anybody's bubble or bust their balloon at the end of it to let them know, like, there's no confession needed, and I never gave him the whole sign and all that.
Come on, you should have done it to at least one or two of them.
Well,
I'd have given him like 85 Hail Marys.
In hindsight, I think maybe one or two I probably
One
did do
Angie.
it and sent them off into the night. But there were others that were so sincere in that moment, you didn't want to ruin it. And there was nothing, and they weren't on bended knee, like, forgive me.
They just needed to get something off their chest.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, that ensemble, they just bought into it and assumed more or less that I was
Here's
Catholic.
the thing. It's not a casual look.
No.
The Cardinal Kelly costume, it's fucking full on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's not just the whatever the neck
Right.
thing is,
Yeah.
So for someone to be that dressed, they're like, oh wow, he must be above the Father. He must be a cardinal.
I just thought that, with its proximity to Halloween, that people wouldn't take it that seriously. But no, brother.
You're a man of God amongst his
I
flock.
mean, like I said, bathroom line, hand on the shoulder. I'm looking for somebody I think that's in our
Yeah.
squad, and it's just a random person. Like, man, are you drinking? And I'm got my pint.
I killed my
Bud,
parents
a
back
Bud,
in
a Bud
1989.
Light.
I've
You
never
know,
told
it
anyone
wasn't-
this, but I killed my parents back in '89.
There was some confession going on.
I
you
bet,
know?
yeah.
I mean, barstool confessions are a real damn thing.
How long ago did you get married?
It was August.
Oh, so
Never
not
had a
long. Yeah,
ceremony.
yeah. Well, congratulations. I'm glad.
you.
Also
on.
congratulations to Caitlin and Anna from Bubba Gumbos, who I forgot to put in the.
Yeah, they got engaged.
They got engaged, and I goddamn forgot to put them into the bit about the political signs because they have this great
Yes,
Bubba Gumbo
they
sign
do.
that
Make
looks
shrimp
like
great again. Or,
yeah,
those are great.
makes seafood great again. I will post a picture up now at this timestamp. Yeah, congratulations, guys. The whole bit about the fucking yard signs is
I
because
want one
they
of
made
those.
it.
Yard signs, man. I'm ready for this election to be over. Like, I got banned from Next Door for like 3 weeks.
So you're on Next Door?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. You're on Next Door,
I'm on Next Door.
or were?
Well, I will be again on like the 7th of November, but someone posted complaining that someone stole all of the yard signs. So I waited for like 20 or 30 people to comment on there about how horrible it was, and then I just said, "Make America gay again" with the rainbow.
I'm
And-
fine with that.
Well, I offended somebody because
Wow.
they banned me for saying "Make America gay again."
On Next Door?
Yep.
Or, do you would it be the admin of the group you were in?
They're local admins. They live on Tybee.
Oh well, yeah, that makes sense. I thought you were saying Next Door did it.
Next Door for Tybee, yeah, the app, whatever. I use
Oh,
it
I
for
don't
yard sales, but
Oh,
anyway.
I don't. Yeah, well, that's not all you use it for.
I want one of those gumbo signs, but I'm not going to take one.
Yeah, I'm not
from
going to
people
steal
that-
one.
well, not from somebody I know.
I'm not going to take a 7-iron to it. That's for sure.
But genius marketing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad I tied it in an hour after we talked about. God.
We got to it. And congratulations. You know what? Whatever puts a smile on your face makes the world around you better.
What is Next Door any fucking ways?
It's an
I'm
app
not
for
on it.
local communities where you can post things for sale, or if you need help with groceries, or I mean, it's really just a local. For the close community, you have to prove that you're a member of that community.
That you live in a certain
It's like
area.
basically it's Facebook for old ladies. I'll be honest with you.
Well,
Oh,
It's Facebook for old ladies.
all I've ever heard is horror stories about people being on Next Door and about the contention and the litigiousness.
It is, and I'll just post thoughts and prayers on things that are being complained about that shouldn't be complained about. And I've had people that I've met recently on the island that I've never met before, and they hear my name and they go, "Are you Thoughts and Prayers, Lars?" I'm not exaggerating. I wish I were making this shit up.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
yeah.
2 or 3 people were like, "Oh my God, you're Thoughts and Prayers, Lars."
It's such
And
a
I'm not mean. It's not like, "Oh, my cat died. Can someone help me bury it?" And I go thoughts and prayers to be an asshole. It's
yeah.
thoughts and prayers when someone says to the person that stole my package or whatever, like off my doorstep.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait for 10 or 15 comments, and then I just post thoughts and prayers.
Well, that's kind of the
It's
casual.
the kindest thing I can say.
Yeah, but it's also kind of this kind of blanket statement that a lot of people or organizations put out in times of crisis or need. Thoughts
It's
and
useless.
prayers.
It's worthless. Thoughts and prayers is worthless.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say that because I have people that would definitely say no. The more
how about
people
this?
in your corner.
Thoughts and prayers in one hand and shit in the other.
Yeah.
and see which one makes the first mess.
Right.
I'd rather
Which
someone
one
just be
fills
like,
up
"Oh man, that
first?"
sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of my go-to.
It's almost when certain people say it, it's almost demeaning. It's like, oh well, thoughts and prayers, brother.
Yeah.
This is my last comment on it. I feel like it's more for them than whoever needed the thoughts and prayers.
100%.
It's not for who needed thoughts and prayers. It's for them.
100%.
Yeah.
It's those same people. I lied. It's those same people where you say, "Hey, my grandfather just died of cancer." They can't be like, "I'm really sorry. Let me know if you need anything." It's, "Oh my God, well my grandfather died of cancer too." No.
I'm praying for you. Thanks a lot.
All right, I'm done.
No, I love this. I'm praying for you. Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
I'm all about positive thinking and positive thoughts and all that sort of stuff. But then there's also a reality that time is the only thing that will
Well, as the man,
sort this, not fix it.
As the
sort
man of
this.
God that you are,
The Cardinal has spoken.
After we've
I
confessed,
thought we already
to you.
talked about this. My brain hates me.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I love all of us, and I love being here. I love all of you listening. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
If you find candy with drugs in it, holler at me.
Will you please go as He-Man?
If you do find candy with drugs, drop them off.
Drop it off at 1209 6th Avenue. I'm not into the uppers, but any downers you get in your Halloween bag, 1209 6th
Opiates,
Avenue.
benzos.
There's a blue truck. Throw it right in the bed of the truck.
Opiates, benzos, flim flams, whizzle wobbles, any of those things.
Look out for the fentanyl, but
Yeah.
the rest of that.
After you've dropped off some of the other drugs and I have a tolerance, then we'll hit the fentanyl.
I mean, if they're dropping off fentanyl, could you get an Arcan or two in there too?
All right,
I believe
guys.
in being safe.
Lars, appreciate you coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Confessional Kelly, thank
This
you.
is so off the rails tonight. I love it.
It was
know.
a little fucked up one.
Hey, but
No,
whatever.
it's beautiful.
Here we are. Happy Halloween, nerds.
Happy Halloween. Sorry, guys.
No.